Welcome to the Artist Impact Podcast, helping you gain confidence, grow your talent, and advance your impact. Here are your hosts, Paul Gibbs and Nate Miller.
Welcome, everybody. Yeah, hey, good to be with you guys again. Hope you're doing well. We are. Thank you very much for asking. I'm Paul. He's not.
I'm Nate.
Nate, that's right. I'm sorry. Here we are with another podcast. Glad to be back with you. If you're seeing this before Easter, happy Resurrection Day. And we had a lot to celebrate. Whether you're seeing this before Sunday or after, praise God. In fact, let's start with our verse here. This comes from Isaiah 53, verses 3 and 4. Goes like this: He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, and yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him, and afflicted. Yeah, it's Isaiah 53, 3 and 4. Praise God that he did not stay on that cross. Amen. Mm-hmm. All right, so we've got some stuff here for you, some very some useful stuff. You're really going to get a lot out of this. And there's some other stuff that you say, really? Yeah, that's not interesting. It all works interesting, but not useful. Anyway.
Most importantly, we're going to start with this, aren't we, Paul?
We are. Yeah, let's start with this. So, trivia. Got a question for you.
Yeah.
All right. You got to either wait till the end or fast forward to the end to get the answer. But what is the longest word in the English language that only has one vowel in it? One vowel, the longest word in the English language. All right. Well, we're recording this on.
See, now I have to wait till the end because
you gotta because
we're recording it right now, so I can't fast forward.
Well, you could peek, but you can't. Yeah. I'm not gonna let you. April 11th, by the way. Did you know? Did you know that it's, not a day goes by that many of us don't think about our pets? Whether they're still with us, or I miss Tiffy.
Or Keyboard Kitty.
I miss Tiffy. Keyboard Kitty.
Yeah.
What was that, Mel? What was that
cat.
Melody? Keyboard Cat? Oh, stop. No, don't do that. Okay, no, okay. Anyway, April 11th, if you didn't know this, it's National Pet Day. And it's not limited to just dogs and cats. Your pet turtle, your pet boa constrictor, or hamster or bird or whatever, and you can celebrate that your pet. Yeah. And how many of you like to play Scrabble? Yeah? Yeah. My mother loved Scrabble. That was I remember playing Scrabble with my mother. I'm not sure I liked it, but I remember playing Scrabble with my mother. And that April 13th, in fact. Okay, for us, that would be tomorrow, because it's April 12th right now, as we, so it's time to CELEBRATE. Yeah, one of the world's most iconic board games, which is Scrabble, and it marks the birthday of, I didn't know this, Alfred Mosier. Wait a minute. Oh, it keeps going. His name keeps going. Alfred Mosier Butts, Butts. He was the founder of the game.
Interesting.
Yeah. How about Major League Baseball fans? Yay! I'm not really. You?
No, not really.
Not really. But I'm sure a lot of you guys are.
Yeah.
And April 14th, in 1910, I'll tell you who was the first president to throw out the first pitch at a Major League Baseball game. All right. It took place at National Park in Washington, D.C. The first president was 1910. Anybody got a guess?
Well, it can't be George Washington if it was in Washington, D.C.
It was not. True. Mm-hmm.
1910.
1910. Who was president in 10?
I haven't studied this since third grade or something.
Okay. Well, it was William Howard Taft.
Okay.
He was the first one to throw the pitch out. All right. Now,
interesting.
Yeah. So we may come back to a little bit more of this, but remember now, I know some of you are already Googling this, and you've already got the answer.
Yeah.
No fair, by the way. No fair. No fair. But the longest word in the English language that has only one vowel. All right.
I hope it's not something silly like the word long. But we'll have to wait.
Longest.
Because
Long.
because est would be another vowel. But
Yeah. Okay.
all right, yeah,
All right.
we'll wait and see.
Moving right along.
All right, so this is an interesting thing. We're following off of the news bits of the week, and this is a little bit of news from the music and copyright report. I usually share something about from this each podcast that we do, and I don't know, maybe some of you guys have heard about this or even seen some of this out in social media. It says how avatar artists are gaming those virtual performances. An ever-increasing number of artists are transforming themselves into avatars, able to perform in fast-developing digital worlds. This gives them the ability to express themselves in a wide range of fantastical experiences that appeal to younger audiences who are already immersed in and engaged with virtual worlds following years of online gaming. But this is the interesting part related to music.
Wow.
It says record company majors are looking to get on board with this trend and are planning to convert their artist rosters into hordes of musical avatars. See, I think they're going to cash in because they see the lucrative benefit here.
Yeah.
And it says, while virtual concerts are a great way of reaching a huge number of viewers and of exposing often young audiences to new artists and new music, they also represent a huge opportunity to sell a large amount of digital merchandise that can deliver serious value add to performances. So interesting thing there. So already like the online gaming community, people are putting themselves into these games. They're creating avatars to represent themselves digitally in the digital world. But now the record companies are seeing their cut of the profit here. Let's create all of our musical performers as avatars, put them in the digital world. Not only will we reach this whole demographic of younger generation who's already so immersed in this digital world through video games and everything else that they're doing. So, maybe these kids aren't out, surfing for, looking for music online. They're not going to concerts or whatever, but they're on these games. So if these artists are in these games or show up in these kind of game related digital worlds, they're going to reach these people, with the music, but they're also seeing the dollar signs because there's all kinds of digital merchandise that can be created off of this.
Wow.
So interesting perspective. It doesn't surprise me at all that the record companies would want to cash in on this. But
right.
So I haven't seen this yet. I'm wondering if you guys have, but I'm going to be curious to see, what artists are we going to see popping up now in a digital format?
Well, the movie Avatar, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I was like, when that came out, I'm like, what is an avatar? I have no idea. It's this blue creature that flies around and stuff.
I think that actually comes from Indian religion. I forget if it's Buddhism or Hinduism, where one of the gods was considered an avatar, in human flesh. So it was a god being in human flesh, representing. Right. Yeah. So that is a real word from a historical context, but used in a new way. Yeah.
Well, there was a show only maybe a year ago, and I don't remember the name of it. Maybe you can find it. I don't know. Do you guys remember a show? It was like American Idol or America's Got Talent or something where it was Avatar. I don't remember the name of it. We watched a couple episodes just out of curiosity about that. But what do you guys think about this? I mean, if you're younger, probably younger generation, that maybe you're like, oh, this is really cool. Maybe older generations might think, well, what is this all about?
Yeah, right.
Or maybe not even. Maybe not really even on board with it.
Okay, so this is from July 16th, 2021. So a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
And it says Fox to debut yet another singing competition where you can't see the singer's face.
Right.
So I guess they would have a digital avatar to represent the singer, and then the people had to guess who it was.
Right. There was the Masked Singer.
Yeah,
which they just had a costume on, but the digital one, I don't remember what that was. But
interesting.
Anyway, yeah. So what do you guys think about that? We always want your input. Tell us what you think. If you got a comment on that, have you seen more of this type of thing?
Have you already created an avatar for yourself?
One? Yeah,
Be interesting.
Anyway, yeah. So, all right, moving along.
So speaking about online things, what
Online
about
things, yeah.
you have some interesting data on online learning?
Yes. How many of you guys have done any online music lessons? You know, maybe whether it's just like watching a video where you learn, learn the guitar solo to the ending guitar solo to "Stairway to Heaven," for example,
Yeah.
or to Hotel California. That's a good solo, by the way.
I never learned that one.
Anyway, me neither. Me neither. But any online learning, or have you taken regular classes? I do know I got a buddy of mine that regularly every week has subscribed to somebody online that he just does a lesson each week. So I got an article here, and I don't have the source. I'm sorry about that. We try to give the source for everyone, but I did get this online. The benefits. I'm going to do some pluses and minuses about learning online and learning remotely. It says every musician, every musical institution has some kind of a portal for online music classes to reach a maximum number of music seekers. So you don't really need to shift from one country or city to another if you want to learn music from a particular academy or an expert. And one benefit, then, we'll do the pros first, is there's really no fixed time. You can do it pretty much on your own schedule. Unless you're doing like Skype, which is in real time, or an in-person online lessons, you don't need to abide by a single time for your class. And most of the online lessons are pre-recorded. You can listen to them at your own at your leisure. Replay it. Go back as many times as you need to. If you're busy on weekdays, you can cover up the lessons during the weekends. Cover up or level up or catch up. I guess that's the word they want to use here. This type of freedom, of course, is available to those who do prefer learning music online. And of course, it's a global platform. If you're taking, you can take lessons from somebody in the UK or Africa or wherever. You have access to. In traditional classes, that is, you have access to a limited number of professors and classmates and teachers. On the other hand, e-learning, so to speak, introduces you to people from every corner of the world. I think that's really cool. Yeah. You can interact with experts and students internationally. And the internet truly connects you with the rest of the world, and you don't even have to leave your room. Again, we said learning on your own pace, which we mentioned. You can do it on your own time, but at your own pace. It goes right along with that, and yet just to emphasize that if you need to slow down your pace of learning, repeat a lesson. I know if a guitar player is trying to learn a solo or something, they can slow down the playback and or just go phrase by phrase, and that's which is really cool. So let's see. So with the help of technology, this says music instructors can impart knowledge to their students differently. Because you may learn differently than somebody else. Again, you may a different pace, for example. Right. You can there's maybe little tricky videos little styles and little lessons that they can be tailored just to you. For example, that you might not get in a classroom setting or in a weekly real time thing. Creativity is just like off the charts when you're doing online, but
what's there has to be a drawback.
You're all by yourself, usually, unless you're sitting with a group and doing something in real time with somebody online. You're probably there by yourself, and as artists ourselves, and Nate and I both have been played in bands before with other musicians, and there's just something to that, isn't there? That's
I mean, I'm self-taught on guitar. I took private lessons when I played saxophone in school, and all the way from 4th grade through 12th grade. So I was always training with somebody else. Right. But yeah, guitars just kind of picked up on my own. Watched other people, learned whatever I could from friends or books or videos. And someone said once, like the problem with being self-taught is the teacher sucks. It's like you're teaching yourself.
He doesn't know anything.
Yeah, you're teaching yourself. But the good thing is though that we're talking about online. There's so many resources now that are available to your fingertips that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
If you did go for a book, in the library or the store, you were still kind of limited to what was available. But now, not only do you have like written resources or just static images, you can learn moving pictures and video from the artists themselves of these songs that you're trying to learn. And like you said, if you have one-on-one interactive training with somebody over like Skype or FaceTime or something like that, it's not quite as good as being there in person, but it's close.
Yeah.
And I think so many people, I mean, we're all kind of, even though we're a little bit older than the generation that's grown up with these things, we learn so much from watching videos. I mean, that's like kind of like, I think people are getting more used to the fact that you just like watch a video. I know so many people now that I'm like, if you need us to learn a skill, I say, oh, well, I think I have a book or something about that.
Yeah, right.
And they're like, oh, I just watch a video. Like people would
Yeah.
rather watch a 5-minute video than, spend an hour reading a book to learn a procedure.
That is
so
true.
It makes sense. I'm just waiting for the day when we can get to like the Matrix style or level of online learning where you can just like jack into the back of your head and like download it in a few seconds, and then. But that takes away all the fun of learning, doesn't it?
It takes it all away. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but so you're on your own a lot, and that the mechanicals of stuff that it is really good for that, but it can also get boring. How many of you have discovered it's just kind of, you lose interest after a while?
You won't have anybody there to push you.
To push, that's right.
Unless you're self-motivated.
Yep, and goes right along with lacking you. There's a certain energy that we know about that we've experienced from playing with other people. That you don't get when you're just playing by yourself. I mean, I've known guys, I know you have, and I shouldn't say just guys, girls too, that really great players, but this T-shirt that says "does not play well with others." That's that can come, and it's only that lack of experience, that lack of energy, that lack of I don't want to say the word magic, but the whatever of the energy of playing with other people, and that.
You definitely in a group setting where you're playing with other people, you definitely feed off of each other, and you also learn from each other. A little thing that you don't know that the other person does will rub off, and you might inspire something, or trigger something in the other person that creatively that they never thought of, and you just don't get that give and take when you're on your own.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You got to start on your own, and sometimes you have to like put in your paces, by yourself in your music room, going through scales and modes or whatever you're doing. But eventually you want to play with other people, and it's going to take your playing to a
and you
whole
really
nother level.
should. Really, I really recommend that. And lastly, the lack of commitment and consistency.
Yeah. So you were talking about you can do it whenever you need to. I just thought of all the horror stories when I was growing up, and like I said, taking those lessons for saxophone.
Yeah.
If I didn't practice and my lesson was coming up, I had to fake it and pretend and hope that first of all, my parents, and then my teacher didn't figure it out.
That's right.
But
you didn't practice, did you?
Yeah, if they could see right through it. I mean, usually I was good enough to fake it, get by. But
right.
But yeah, like how did they word it there? You don't have the consistency. There's if you don't feel like doing the work,
right.
Why not? I don't feel like
I'll tell you. I'll just give you a little background. When I first picked up a guitar, my first guitar was all plastic. The whole body and everything was all plastic. It
wasn't like a Mickey Mouse guitar, was it?
Well, no, it was not Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
I forget what it had on it, but it was had nylon strings and stuff. I don't know. I was in 6th grade, maybe 5th or 6th grade, but there was no online stuff. There was no, and so a bunch of friends and I, 2 or 3 of us, we got together and we all kind of had this interest in music. So we learned some songs and we just kind of got together and we just and that just went on through the years. And I tell you that commitment from being in bands, whether it's Christian band, you got a praise team or whatever. In my case, it was secular bands right through junior high school. That commitment that we all had to each other and to the music was just, irreplaceable. It was just awesome.
Yeah.
And that, and when you're on your own, it says, you might, and it might not be important to you. You may say, I really want to learn the guitar. I really want to learn some things on the piano. and that may be all you want to do, and that's fine. Nobody's saying that you have to be in a band. You have to go any further with it. You really don't. But for those that are really want to take it to the next level and keep getting better and better and more and doing it all the time, I think it's really a combination.
Mm-hmm.
You can get things online that you just cannot get from just playing together or playing on your own or playing with friends. You'll get some stuff online that can level up your abilities, but you also need that being together with other artists too as well. What are your thoughts on that? Got any thoughts? You finding with the what's great about the online learning? What have you discovered that's really helped you? Maybe there's some online resources
Mm-hmm.
that you could share with us that we could share with our viewers and our listeners. That would be great as well. Have you found that being in a band or playing with other musicians, how has that been for you? Has it been a real positive thing? I know different bands I was in. I had several musicians over the years that we were always together. We played with my late friend Dana Roy. He was a drummer, and he and I just right from early '70s right on up through it. And then there was other ones that just kind of came and go.
Yeah.
We had one guy. I'll tell you. I think I've talked about this before. We had a guy try to join. He was a guitar player, didn't sing, and we advertised for a guitar player. And this guy came in, and we what was it? I think it was Stairway to Heaven. That's the kind of stuff I used to play. Okay, we did Stairway to Heaven, and this guy said, "Oh yeah, I know that solo at the end." He said, I can do that." Well, we did the song. We got to the solo, and he just took off. He played every note. He played it note for note. Played it perfectly, as far as I know.
But not in the tempo.
But he wasn't with us at all. He got done, and he got done with a solo. I think either before we did. And it's like he had no experience.
Yeah.
He had no experience playing with a band.
That's a whole nother skill set.
Yeah, it really is. So anyway, we'd like to hear from you on your thoughts on that. So take a quick pause and be right back. We have got more coming up for you after this.
Including the answer to that trivia question.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's all coming up right here. I'll be right back.
You're listening to the Artist Impact Podcast with your hosts, Nate Miller and Paul Gibbs. And now, back to the Artist Impact Podcast with your hosts, Paul Gibbs and Nate Miller.
And we're back. And I realized at the top we never said this is the Artist Impact Podcast, episode number 32. And this is our podcast, one of the 3 podcasts we do here at Inspire Music that is dedicated to primarily the independent musician, but I think it has helpful things for all artists and musicians. And these are things that we found interesting that had an impact on us, and we want to pass on to you guys to help you create a greater impact in what you do, whatever your music ministry is or your performance style. And one of the things that we like to do is to give helpful hints and tips to artists. Do you have a trivia or something you want to?
Yeah. See, when I put this page up, that tells him I want to say something. Yeah.
See, they can't. Yeah. They can't see that on just the podcast, but if you're watching the
video,
that's right. If you're watching the video, you saw that little cue that Paul said.
Well,
wait, but wait, there's more.
Did you know? Oh my goodness, he said it again. They know that when even on the Just Got Music Hour, when I say "Did you know?" they say, "Oh, I can hear a collective." Oh, here we go. All right. Well, this stuff is provided to us, and we feel that it's really our responsibility to share it with our listeners. All right, because this stuff comes from Ambassador Advertising. All right, and they are a Christian organization that puts this stuff together. And, we'd be doing you guys, our viewers and listeners, a major disservice, I think, if we didn't. Plus, this is kind of funny. The funny part is hearing me pronounce this guy's name. Anyway, April 12th. April 12th, which is today for us. Oh, can you stand it? April 12th, and it was in 1892. I didn't realize typewriters were that old.
I guess that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I didn't realize that either.
April 92. And that it wasn't the first typewriter. It was the first U.S. patent for a truly portable typewriter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have to wonder what portable meant back in 1892.
Like a stagecoach could drag it along or something?
Probably a team of horses in a wagon. Anyway, the patent was issued to George C. I'm going to try this. Blickensderfer.
Wow.
Blickensderfer. I think he invented the typewriter because he couldn't write his name. He needed a typewriter.
He's probably so tired of writing that out.
Yeah, the machine had up to 90% fewer parts than the heavier desk typewriters that came before it. All right.
Interesting.
I'm done. All right.
So, like I said, before that, interesting
No, wait,
fact,
there's more.
Wait, there's more.
Just kidding.
You know, one of the things that we like to do on this podcast, and like I said, we want to help you guys create a greater impact in what you do. And so we like to find things that are helpful for artists, whether you're musicians or singers or performers of any kind. And I found this really interesting article. It's written by Michael. It's either Gallant or Gallant. I don't know what he prefers, but he's a musician, writer, and entrepreneur living in New York City. And this was, I forget where this originally debuted, but I got this from the Discmaker's blog. And it's an article for singers. And, you know, he kind of prefaces it and also closes it out by saying this is a technique that he kind of not really stumbled upon, but was influenced by his dad, and he tried it out, and he got great results from it. So he says at the end, you know, if it works for you, great, keep doing it. If not, you know, obviously nothing ventured, nothing gained. But he says he calls this a counterintuitive singing tip, and he says stop listening and start feeling. And so the subheading here says focusing on how your singing feels rather than how it sounds can help you create a more nuanced and personal vocal performance. So I don't know how you guys are. If you're a vocalist out there, do you focus more on technique? Is it more about, is my pitch correct and the timbre of my voice? You know, are you trying to get great tone? Or is it more about, you know, being emotive? Or is it a mixture? Obviously, the great performers that really stand out have both.
Right.
I've heard very technical singers whose pitch is phenomenal, but there's no feeling behind it.
No feeling behind it.
And then there are people who just, you can tell they're pouring their heart and soul out, but like it sounds terrible.
It sounds terrible, yeah.
So obviously the best would be, the ideal would be to have the best of both worlds. But if you haven't ventured into this idea of singing with feeling and you're more of, on the technical side, maybe this is something for you. So he says when you're working on vocals, whether it's recording or doing live shows, you might start asking yourself all kinds of questions and critiquing yourself and end up feeling overwhelmed and anxious or even paralyzed. And he says, so sometimes it's best to ignore the way that your singing sounds and focus only on how it feels. Now, for some of you, you might already be like, oh, no, I can't do that, you know. It's just, and that's why he says this is totally counterintuitive. And he says, here's a few reasons why not listening to yourself can actually elevate your singing. Yeah. He says, first of all, learn to trust yourself. Obviously, the more singing that you do, the more you can rely on your muscle memory. So if you don't know yet, if you're new to singing, your singing voice is a muscle. It's one of those things where the more you do it, the better it's going to get tuned and the easier it will get to do. It will become to doing it. And if you don't use it for a while, you lose it, don't you?
Absolutely.
So it's something you got to keep working at and keep improving. But his point is the more singing that you do, the more you can rely on the muscle memory and stop thinking about the technical aspect of it. The more you can make healthy singing technique a default reflex, the freer you'll be to just perform as an artist. So do put the technical work in, but then the point is to get to the point where you can forget about that. You don't have to be thinking about, how much compression do I have in my throat, and which register am I in? Is this the pharyngeal, part of my voice? Like, get past that technical stuff so that you can just perform freely.
I just wanted to add, it's kind of like the lessons. I can play an instrument as well. When you're doing lessons, do the technical part.
Yeah, you got to start.
You got to start with the technical part. You got to. If you're doing keyboard, you got to learn those scales. Guitar, you got to learn those scales and stuff like that. Do that first. But like I think what you're saying, don't stop there. Once you've got that down, then that's kind of second nature, and then start.
Yeah, it should just be a natural reflex then at that
Right.
point. Secondly, he says your audience hears hears you differently than you hear yourself. Have you guys ever heard the first time you hear your voice,
Oh,
on a recording?
yeah.
Is that how I sound? Like,
Really? Oh.
and the thing is, like, you're hearing your voice inside your head, and there's all kinds of vibrations in the skull, and the warmth and the timbre of your voice that you hear inside your head is very different from what people hear outside.
Yes.
And the same is true for your singing voice. So, and he says, even if you perform with high quality in-ear monitors, you're still only getting an approximation of what the audience is hearing.
Yeah.
So if you are a performer on stage and you have an in-ear mix and you're using that as a reference for what you think the audience is hearing, it's probably close, but there's other things mixed in there, including what you're hearing inside your own head, that isn't going to give you a true picture or sound of what the audience is hearing.
If you don't like listening to yourself recorded, get over it. Listen, listen, listen to yourself back so that you are getting used to what you sound like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
What you sound like. Okay.
And he does say that. It says, unless you record yourself and listen on playback, you can't know exactly what your audience hears when you sing.
Right.
So recording is a very good measure, a good technique to use. If you guys never ever recorded your voice singing, it can be a very humbling thing, or it could be a very encouraging thing. You might sound better than you think, in your head.
Yeah.
But his point is, don't use that as your only reference. If you're so hyper focused on what you're hearing in your head, that might not be what's being translated to your audience. You want, he says, greater energy you want to pour into the motion of the song itself than thinking about inside your head, like what you're hearing in your head. Pour more energy into the emotion of the song than being so focused on what you're hearing. The third thing he says, reduce vocal tension. Trying to micromanage your delivery and your technique easily leads to physical tension. If anybody out there is a seasoned singer, or even someone who's kind of in an intermediate stage, that like vocal tension is the arch nemesis of getting great vocal pitch and range.
Right.
The moment your throat starts to tighten up, you're just killing your voice. And so if you're constantly hyper focused on that, it can inadvertently create tension in your voice, and so you're really not going to be able to relax into your true voice if you're focused on that. So if you're actively worrying about hitting a note spot on, there's nothing to correct and no muscles to squeeze to get there. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. He says, if you're not actively worrying about hitting a note spot on and nothing to correct, there's no muscles to squeeze. So again, not focusing on the technique of it, you're freeing your voice up to sing naturally and freely as possible. And it's going to improve your voice right there. The more you relax and enjoy the experience of singing itself, the better your pitch will actually become naturally.
Yes.
So reduce vocal tension, and singing in a way that just feels good will give you a better overall sound. I guarantee you the people that have a really great voice, whether it's natural or trained, they're not singing with any sort of tension. Now, they might have really great technique, and they might have worked on that technique for a long time.
Exactly.
But once they've gotten that technique down, they're
Right.
not putting they're not straining to hit high notes. They're not pushing. They're just singing naturally.
Right. Right.
And that's part of the technique as well.
Yep.
He says, less sound, more emotion. So the most important part of your performance is delivering a powerful vocal that with meaning and that communicates something. So communicating something true and meaningful through your vocals is actually what you're trying to achieve. Especially, I would say that for even secular artists, but particularly for Christian artists that we're talking about, I would venture to guess that most of the songs that you're singing have a meaning before them or behind them. There's a purpose and a meaning behind the lyrics.
Yes.
You're trying to convey something to your audience, to your fans. And again, I think that's true for folk artists, for secular artists, whatever. There's a meaning behind the lyrics. So if you're always just worried about the tone and the pitch, you might not be getting across the emotion or the true meaning behind the lyrics, or at least not conveying them as well as you could.
Right.
If you're not putting the emotion behind them, or even if you are, like I said, that's just something that sets it at a higher level. When you hear somebody who's a phenomenal singer, you don't walk away the same way. Like people can bring you to tears by singing, and it's not just because they're on pitch.
Right.
You're thinking about the lyrics that they're singing, and then the emotion that they put behind it. really hits you hard.
Yeah.
And that's what you're looking for. You're trying to convey passion and meaning and significance and truth through the lyrics that you're singing. And so that's why you want to bring out more of this emotion. And then the next to the last one he says here is to own your own sound. And again, like Paul said, if you don't like the way that your voice sounds, get over it. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there who have made a career out of sounding terrible.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, Bob Dylan, I mean, I think
that's who I was going to say.
He's an acquired taste.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Even Tom Petty from the Heartbreakers,
yeah.
like, you know,
yeah.
they're not people that you would think of like a virtuoso singer.
No,
and yet they had such great long careers.
That's right.
And you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of fans.
That's right.
And so there's people out there who, and I'm not saying, you know, to not strive to sing better. You can improve always what you're doing. But his point is, no matter how hard you try to emulate your favorite artist and, you know, try to sing like them, and there are people out there are copycat people who are great at chameleoning, like kind of making a chameleon voice of someone, you know, like
right.
I forget what the word is right now, but
mimic, imitate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're going to be best served by developing your own unique voice.
Yep.
And again, you might not like what it sounds like now, but no matter how hard you try, you're going to have a unique timbre to your voice. Even identical twins have different voices. So, so his point is to own your own sound. You know, at some point you just got to say, this is how I sound. I'm going to just, you know, work on this and make it sound the best that I can. And you kind of have to get to the point where you accept that that's your voice, but you ask yourself then, what can I do with this? And the thing is, the artists that you like and the ones that you're trying to mimic or maybe live up to, like they also sound unique. And probably the reason that you like them is because they have a unique sound that you gravitate to. Yep. The thing is that you have your own voice, and so if you can get to the point where you not only accept it but you love it and you develop it and maximize it, who knows how many people out there are going to grow to love your voice as well.
Well, think about Bob Dylan. Again, getting back to Bob Dylan, he was a great artist, great songwriter.
Yeah, great songwriter.
You know, maybe he's not the great. Maybe we don't consider him among the great singers, but Bob Dylan was the best Bob Dylan that he could be. And I think what really strikes me here is that he didn't let anything stop him.
Oh yeah.
He probably realized that he wasn't striving to be a great singer. He was a great songwriter. And so he just was the best Bob Dylan that he could be. And so I think that's the point maybe we ought to make here. Is just be the best you that you can be.
And how many people out there have tried to maybe even emulate him or mimic him? And
that's true. Yeah.
You know, again, he's not a virtuoso singer, but has such a unique characteristic voice that like people have actually tried to implement some of that into their own performances. So again, he says you may be surprised at how uniquely your voice develops as a result of just accepting it and saying, this is my voice. What can I do with it? You know, it's a tool.
Yeah.
And finally, he says, again, this is Michael Gallant. He says, keep context in mind. So this is kind of like a little affidavit. He says, so singing without listening to yourself is not an excuse to deliver a bad ear-rending performance, as he calls it. And it's also not a license to throw away good technique, pitch, and taste to the wind and wail like a dying cat. I love how he writes that. He says, rather, it's an intriguing strategy to experiment with. And he says, if you like the results, as he did, keep going with it. You know, it's something that, like I said, I didn't read the whole article to you, but he said that it was kind of his dad kind of influenced him to try this. And he found great results with it. Now, obviously, he probably also worked on the technical aspect of his song singing, but he found like when he would let go of that and just say, how can I express myself, not only just my voice, but the feeling and the emotion behind the words that I'm singing, and put that into it. When you get to the point where you can do both, like sing technically well and also emotively, that's the cream of the crop there. So if you guys have been on the technical side of the singing and you haven't really ventured into putting emotion behind your singing, give this a try. And I would say, like we were talking about before about recording, I would say if you want to experiment with this, first of all, start with a song that you sing already. Record yourself before you try this experiment. Record that as your bass line, and then work on this for a couple weeks, couple days, whatever you want to do, and then go back and re-record yourself and listen to the both side by side, do an A/B test. See if there's any change.
Yeah.
See if it's something that you like. Is there something there that maybe comes out after you stop thinking about the technical aspect and just start thinking about the emotion and think, okay, there's something here I can add to what I'm already doing. I'd be surprised to see what you guys find. And if you try it, let us know.
Let us know. Yeah.
Leave a comment or reach out to us at info@notespiremusic.com and let us know if you have any success with this technique.
Yeah. What other techniques that you, other aspects of this? We got this trivia. We're gonna come back and give that to you. I got some thoughts on overcoming stage fright.
Yeah, I'm really interested in hearing this one.
So we're gonna take a quick pause here and then come back and talk to you about that. All right, be right back.
You're listening to the Artist Impact Podcast with your hosts, Nate Miller and Paul Gibbs. And now, back to the Artist Impact Podcast with your hosts, Paul Gibbs and Nate Miller.
Welcome back. All right. Hey,
All right.
hope you guys are enjoying what we're doing here. We really, we're having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, it's great. When we research this stuff, I learn new stuff all the time.
this is it's great.
It's really
It really is great. And
educational and encouraging.
yeah. I'm learning some stuff too. Yeah, I love all your thoughts on the whole singing thing. Yeah, that's I might.
Yeah, I was wondering what I didn't know if you would chime in on any personal experience. Have you ever thought about like
I never had any lessons. I can tell you that.
right?
But
When you sing, when you perform, are you thinking more about like your pitch and tone, or are you thinking more?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's cool. That's
I'm really
interesting.
not. I'll tell you one thing that helps me, and if you guys may want to chime in on this too. I have it when I'm out doing a concert, for example. I have a couple of songs that are my warm-up songs that are not hard to sing. They don't have a real big range to them.
Right.
They're easy to sing. I don't have to think too much about it, and I find that those are better. I always want to start with something relatively easy to warm up with. But as far as like warm-up exercises and stuff, I've never really done that. But I say that I probably should. I think you guys should too. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's the same with. I mean, like you, I'm self-taught on the guitar and mostly on the keyboard as well. So I think there's some. Maybe you guys maybe some of you play by ear. Some of you had to have music. Maybe some can do either one or the other or both. Yeah. So anyway, let us know your thoughts on that. But that's where. How about you? You do.
Are you talking about for singing? Or?
Yeah, you're just kind of.
I mean, right now I'm more focused on like improving the technical aspect of my singing.
Okay.
Focusing on pitch and timbre and tone and stuff like that. But after reading this article, I don't know. I'm going to think about like thinking more about the emotion behind the lyrics that we're singing. I mean, because I'm mostly singing in what's the word I'm trying to think of, like a Sunday morning like congregational worship setting. So I mean, obviously there's meaning behind the lyrics that I'm singing, but I'm more about like it's more about me leading a congregation and singing and not about performing.
Right.
So I don't really think about the performance aspect of it, but definitely thinking about the meaning behind the words and how would that maybe come across emotively, even in leading other people in singing. So that's an interesting aspect that I might think about.
Yeah, and I
think that's more important for performers, but
maybe we'll come back and visit this a little bit more.
Yeah.
You guys, let us know what your thoughts are because we could go. There's more to this. There really is. And I'm gonna make a note right now. Some of you are
circle back.
Yeah, circle back. And I have a thought. I'm gonna verbalize it only because I don't want to have a bunch of silence here, unless you want to talk about something while I'm doing this. But I have a thought on this. I'm gonna write down sticking to the melody as opposed to ad-libbing.
Okay, that's interesting.
Or combination thereof. We'll come back to that.
All right.
How many of you deal with stage fright? Put your hand up. Oh, come on, everybody! Wow. Okay, wait a minute. Maybe we should ask how many of you don't deal with stage fright. Oh, okay.
Not so much anymore.
Not so much anymore.
In the
Okay.
beginning, it was terrible.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what. I started out just playing guitar and singing. I'll tell you, the first band I was ever in, we were a bunch of us. It was 6th, 7th grade. The only reason I started singing is because nobody else wanted to.
Oh, wow.
And so I stood there with my guitar and sung, and the bass player, Jeff, he sang, but we never had a drummer that sang.
Did you actually look at the audience, or did you just look straight down?
I probably watching my chords.
Yeah, watch your fretting hand, yeah.
Yeah, I was worried more about the guitar playing than I was the singing. I don't care. Okay. Anyway, all right, stage fright. This comes from the Guide for Musicians by Jake L. I don't know what his last name is, but that's how he signed it, Jake L. You know, he says stage fright is a very common thing for many performers, especially singers. Right. Yeah, because a lot of times if we're just singing, we're just kind of, we're not hiding behind a guitar or a keyboard. You're just holding a microphone. Oh, boy. Performing is a very fun experience, but it can be very nerve-wracking for a lot of people. And you know what? I mean, this kind of ties in about the singing. If it's nerve-wracking for you as the performer, it's nerve-wracking for your audience because they sense it, they see it.
We talked about that in one of our tips for new Christian artists. Yeah,
we did. Right.
Go back and watch that on Notespire Music TV on YouTube.
So I'm going to run through these quick because our time is somewhat limited here, but not really. It's our podcast. We can go as long as we want, right? Yeah. But anyway, we don't want to go too long. So you know what we might do? I think we should do because of time. We got 10 of them here. I'm gonna do with the first 5.
That sounds good.
Yeah, let's do the first 5, and then we'll continue with the next 5
good idea.
in our next podcast. All right, number 1. All right, guys. Number 1 is the P word. What is it, everybody?
Panic. Oh. You're talking about stage fright.
Good one. That's a good one. No,
I don't have his notes, so I'm guessing.
All right, guys. Some of you got it. I know you did. What's the P word that we all should be doing?
Plan.
Good one. No, it's not the one I want.
What is it?
Practice.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew it had to be easy.
Or practice.
Practisement.
All right. Practice. Prepare yourself to the point that the songs you need to perform are second nature. And that, as I was saying, that a couple of songs that I like to start with, they are second nature. I don't even have to think about them. I don't think about the words. I don't think about the notes I'm singing.
It probably helps you to ease into your performance.
Into it. Yeah. And because I've been doing them so often. But practice, friends, practice. The more prepared you are, the less anxious you're going to be when you get up on stage, and gives you more peace of mind and allow you to focus on giving your best performance. Number 2, visit the venue. If you can do this.
Oh, yeah.
If you can do this, go to the venue, go to the place you're going to be performing at.
That way you know what to expect. You've already seen it. Yeah.
If it's a church, you're going to be, I know like some artists, if they're traveling, doing a concert tour for example, you don't know. But you may get there the night before and be able to at least, go into the church, for example, or whatever venue it is. If you can, visit the venue and check it out. A great way to help calm down your pre-performance anxieties. And it really helps a lot if you can familiar yourself with the stage and the rest of the environment, and also maybe the tech. What's the sound system going to be like? Right. I mean, that's for me. That's huge. When I would go out and do concerts, I'm almost always using my own sound system because I just did not want to deal with what is going to be here. So so maybe you do the same thing if you're out there.
And that would help with pre-performance visualization. If anybody does, I mean, athletes do that all the time. But if you know what the venue looks like, where you're going to be standing, what the audience will look like, you can already start mentally rehearsing that in your head.
Yes.
And prepare even before you get to the performance. So that's great. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So number 3, I like this one. It says, be present. Be present. Yeah. And I'll read what this says, and I got a couple of thoughts. One of the most important tips that will help you overcome your stage fright when singing is becoming more present in the moment. Don't think about what's going to happen tomorrow. Or what already happened yesterday.
Where am I going for lunch?
Focus on the now and react as you go. Be present. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever found yourself, and maybe you guys too, have you ever found yourself and you're in the middle of a song and your mind just kind of wanders?
Yes.
Yeah?
I mean, it doesn't always happen, but
Me,
yeah.
me
And like I
too.
said earlier, I'm usually in the context of corporate. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Corporate worship on a Sunday morning. And, I might be thinking, okay, what's my next song? What's the transition? Am
Uh-huh.
I going to speak in between or just
Right?
go right in between them?
Right.
What do I have to do? A key change? Do I have to put my cape on? Oh, what was the chord I just missed? And then
Yeah,
I'm gone
yeah,
and I'm lost.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else's hand going up besides mine
Yeah.
on this? Yeah. Okay. So be present in the moment. Oh, I can't.
Mm.
When I was in bands, in secular bands years ago, and we would play just about every week, multiple times. You're playing at a club or a wedding reception or whatever, and playing every week. Those songs were just repetitive, and just my mind would be 10,000 miles away. I'm
Oh,
singing,
yeah.
I'm playing the keyboard,
Could do it without thinking,
playing
right?
guitar, and just do it without thinking. And all of a sudden, oh, we're on the last verse, or oh, the song's over. But that's because it was so repetitive, and I was so used to it. But when you are when you're not used to the venue, for example, or you're in a new situation, you're doing songs that you maybe haven't done an awful
Or
lot.
just your adrenaline is flowing. Yeah.
Uh-huh. That is not a good idea to go wandering off and figuring, your mind should not be going on vacation unless your body goes with it. So stay in the moment, be present. Number 4, ask yourself the right questions.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So this vocal tip comes from vocal coach Ken Taylor. And it can really change your mindset because it can help overcome your stage fright when singing because we all ask ourselves questions. For example, what if I mess up? Yeah, okay, yeah. Is it okay for me to perform in front of this crowd? Is it okay if I walk over to the left of the stage? Is it okay if I take my mic out of the stand? Is it okay if I do this or do that? And what if they don't like me? What if they don't applaud on the next song? I mean,
Oh,
maybe
my.
maybe it's not appropriate in the venue. Okay,
Yeah.
but that well, let's say they do applaud for one song and the next one
What
it's
does
dead
that mean?
silent.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah.
You
Are they-
like
are-
me. You really like me.
Yeah. But so ask yourself the right questions and positive questions. Here, for example, all right, those are negative questions. Here's some positive questions. What if my performance goes great?
Oh.
What if I sing really good? How can I make performing in front of this crowd a positive experience? All right, have you ever asked yourself that? What if they love my voice? Ooh, there's a question.
Those
I'll
are not
bet-
questions I ever asked myself.
Yeah.
It's always the negative ones.
Me neither. It's always the negative ones. Yeah. So you see, asking these kinds of questions are more positive. They'll change your attitude before you even go up on stage. And they're also going to, in turn, make you less anxious. So if you practice this advice, all right, you may have to work at it.
Yeah.
You have to say, okay, oh man, what if they don't like me? Yeah, but what if they do? Then what's going to happen?
Then I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Then I'll have fans.
Yeah, no, that fans. That's gonna help overcome the stage fright. So I mean, answer the question. Now, okay, so you may ask the question. Okay, well, what if I mess up? What if they don't like me? All right, there are answers in your mind to those questions. Right.
Right.
Okay. Whatever those answers might be, I'll never get on stage again. I'm gonna just give up music and forget this whole dumb music thing. No. What about the answers to the good questions? What if they like me? What's the answer to that question? Just you think about it in your mind. What would happen if they really liked you? Think about it. Think about it. It's going to help you head in a positive direction. Okay. Number 5. Smile. Yeah. If you're just listening, you heard me and Nate just smile. Okay, and have confident body posture. All right, don't strut around the stage like you're an egomaniac. Okay, no, but a confident body posture. So when you go on stage, make sure you smile. All right, it does great for your mood. It helps you be in a better mood.
Right.
It sets the atmosphere of your whole performance to be more positive. And when your audience feels that you are relaxed, they are going to relax.
Right.
And believe me, when you have the audience relaxed, that's going to help you because it works back and forth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Have you found
and
that?
Again, we talked about that in that earlier video I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the audience is, whether they realize it or not subconsciously, they are rooting for you. When you go up on stage, they're actually nervous for you because they're waiting, to see, is this person comfortable? Are they going to they don't want you to fail.
No.
And so, like you said, if you smile and you look confident, you put them at ease, and they're like, yes, they're actually rooting for you to
Yeah.
be successful. The
yeah.
other interesting thing is, and you know this from doing voiceovers and radio work, when you smile, whether people can see you or not, it actually comes through in your voice.
That's right.
It makes your voice sound better.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Sure does. And if you're yours, I think in some of us, I think some artists, and you know the ones, you see them on TV or whatever. They just they have a natural smile.
Yeah.
Some people just have a natural smile. I don't have a natural smile. My son Scott does not have a natural smile. If we relax our face, we look like we're mad. You have to work on it. So when I'm on the radio, for example, I do have to kind of work at that and have a smile. Like the telephone operators were always taught to be smiling when they're talking.
I wonder if it helps to put a small mirror, on your soundboard when you're recording, so you can see what you look like.
It might.
Yeah,
it might. So when the crowd is having fun, when the crowd is enjoying themselves, you're going to enjoy yourself. That is going to make the whole thing much more positive experience. And I like this. This kind of ways what you said. The audience can feel what you're feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. If you feel nervous, they're going to feel nervous for you.
Right.
However, if you feel confident, they're going to feel it, they're going to see it, and they are going to be more confident in you. And awesome. Combination of a good smile and confident body posture translates to the crowd, you're there, and to give them a good experience. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's number 5. We got 5 more.
5 more. All right.
Yeah, we're going to share those with you next time. What are your tips on getting over stage fright? Yeah, we want to hear from you. What helps you to get over your stage fright? What do you do? Do you have kind of a routine? Do you have something that you've learned to do? Or maybe you're like, oh man, I think those are great tips. I need to try a few of those. Let us know that, would you? Yeah. Let us know that you're in tune with us. Ooh, in tune with us.
That sounds good.
Ooh, that was a good one. Yeah. All right.
So, when are we going to give the answer? I'm still waiting for the longest word in the English language with only one vowel.
Okay. All right. The
longest... Did you guys stick with us, or did you fast forward? Did you cheat and fast forward? Because I couldn't. I had to wait until the end.
Yeah.
As we're recording this to hear the answer.
Well, there's more trivia here, but I'm going to spare this.
That's trivial compared to this, right?
That's really trivial. Oh, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, the longest word in the English language that has only one vowel.
I wish we had a drum roll sound effect.
I wish we did. We'll have to do that. The vowel is E, by the way.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, the vowel is E, and the word is strengths. STRENGTHS. Strengths.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. So.
That was a strong word to end on.
That was a very strong, yeah. Thank you.
Well, we hope you guys have stuck with us to this
guys,
point.
Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you guys for being part of the Artist Impact episode number 32. We hope that you got something out of this, even if it was just laughing at us messing up and tripping over our own words. But hopefully you could hear us smiling as we were delivering them.
Absolutely. I've been smiling.
And having fun while we do it. And again, we hope that this helps you to have a greater impact in your music, whether you're performing, you have a music ministry, whatever it is. We would love to hear from you guys. You can leave a comment under the YouTube video if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, which is Notespire Music TV. We are also on Facebook and Instagram under Notespire Music. You can go to our website, notespiremusic.com. And if you want to contact us directly, you can email us at info@notespiremusic.com. We didn't mention the radio at all. Why
Well,
don't
we
you tell
didn't.
them about
Okay.
radio?
All right. And I was going to say we are always looking for your music. If you are a Christian artist and you
Yeah.
have some music recorded, we would love to consider it for Notespire Radio, WNSMDB, which is our radio station broadcasting 24/7 on the internet. You can go to notespireradio.com to listen on your desktop computer, or if you're listening on your phone, you want to listen on your phone, there are several apps that you can download. One of them, the main one, is called Live 365, Live 365. Download that app, search for Notespire Radio, and there we are. Also, the podcast that I get to host every week is called the Just Got Music Hour. New episode comes out every Friday, and we would love to have your music to consider for that as well. So, again, get in touch with us, Notespire, info@notespiremusic.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all for this episode. We
I
packed
think it
we
is.
packed a lot in there, and we
We
will be
have.
back next time with more on Stage Fright and lots more to come. Yeah.
So stay tuned. We'll be back. All right. Until then, take care of yourselves.
And take care of each other.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The Artist Impact Podcast is a production of Notespire Music, LLC. At Notespire Music, we empower independent Christian musicians to grow their God-given music potential by refining their craft and extending their music ministry reach through mentorship, training, trusted resources, music production, and artist promotion. Notespire Music, helping you gain confidence, grow your talent, and advance your impact. For more information, visit notespiremusic.com. That's NOTESPIREMUSIC.com.